The irony of being a public figure is that your private life becomes the public life. And when your private life becomes the public life, it now means that the public is entitled into their own opinions. You are open up to crucifixion. You're open up to um, uh, public courts, what we call social media courts, crucifying you and taking verdicts in on your behalf.
Hello, sanibonani dumelang igama uzandi isibongo umfeka umalwandle lo lwandle kalwela lwezibhekane zona isihambela likude phezulu. Do join.
Let us have this conversation because this is the one to be had. If you are new in this home, this is a safe space. We talk about anything and everything. We educate, we inspire, we things that from one graduate to another. Let us have this conversation because you know what? Yabona, this one, it hits home. I saw a very horrible video of a man called Mr. Ntshangase, who is married to Nozipho Ntshangase. Girl is in the public figures, is in the public eye, so she is a public figure. So if you are a public figure, you find your life not being private anymore, and especially when there is an internal family member that is going to take videos of private things that happen in your private space and in your private home and take them out there in the public. There's nothing you can actually do about it. But what do you do when now that has happened and you are finding yourself in that position? I am tackling this, first of all, on a point of somebody who has been in a very emotional, abusive relationship or marriage. It was a marriage in my case. It was very emotional. At first, it started with being verbal abusive. It led verbal abusive, slowly changed to emotional abuse, where somebody will just emotional abuse you because they've got upper hand. And at some point, it's only now I got to realize there was also an element of economic abuse here and there. Funny enough, I was a working girl. This man found me when I was working already. I was educated, I had my own degrees. I was able to sustain myself and my life, pay my own rent, had my own car, and but he still had guts and a nerve to bring in an element of economic abuse. What we saw on that video of Nozipho Ntshangase that has currently been trending right now, we are saying something that is very, very horrible. Number one, I saw economic abuse. Number two, I saw verbal abuse and emotional abuse. And sadly, this is happening to the whole household of Ntshangase. You talk the kids, the auntie who is a helper here in this house now knows what is happening, and the children are getting involved. Let us start with this. First of all, let me just break it up for you if you don't know what has happened. I'll just do you a favor because I love Yalogazi so much, who's a YouTuber here who's been covering the story. I'll just copy her link and put it down on the description box below so that you can follow her and be able to follow the story. But just to give you a summary of what happened. Nozipho Ntshangase is on the Mommy Club that is showing on Showmax. His husband, Mr. Ntshangase, is the breadwinner in the household. And Nozipho has got 8 kids, and all these 8 kids are not her biological kids. Some of these kids, Yalogazi is breaking this down very nice on her latest video. Some of these kids are the kids from the other partners that Mr. Ntshangase has had, and Nozipho, I don't know what was the arrangement, volunteered, or the mothers dumped the kids. I don't know what actually happened. But whatever that happened, the bottom line is Nozipho is now a mother of these 8 kids, raising the kids from other mothers that Mr. Ntshangase has been going around planting, being the father of the nation, you know. Nozipho has never worked. Allegedly, Nozipho has never worked. He's depending on this man financially. He's a housewife, a beautiful, well taken care of housewife that I assume that she gets everything from her husband, because I also assume that the husband is well off financially. If you are able to have 8 kids, when you have got this beautiful wife that is sitting at home and is a housewife, and eventually this wife gets, and the mother decides, let me do something that is actually going to keep me busy somehow, and then he actually decides to go and be part of the show at Showmax, where we now know her from. My point of view, first of all, we see children begging the father, Dad, please don't do this. Let's sit down, let us talk. And the one thing that I love about those kids, they are grown up boys. They are talking so calmly with the father, who is up in arms and, like, is fighting, He wants to leave. We don't know. He wants to leave and go where you want to live and leave 8 kids, your whole family, and your wife here. You want to leave and go where? You are threatening to take the car, the same car that is meant to take your kids to school, and the wife is begging, why are you shouting? Why are you screaming? Sit down, let's talk about this. You want the car? I cannot give you the car. I'm taking the kids to school with the car. That's economic abuse, number one. Number two, you having an altercation with your kids. It's verbal abuse. What are you teaching these kids? These are boys. Number three, which is the point that I think that coming from a point of being a Zulu and now being the devil's advocates, I think what really made Mr. Ntshangase more angrier in that video is the fact that now the kids are involved. The kids are talking on behalf of the mother, begging on behalf of the mother. In a Zulu culture, you don't do that ever. When the parents are fighting, you run and go and lock yourself in the bedroom. When the argument whatsoever is over, you come out. It's me being the devil's advocate in this case. At the same time, I've got this thing that says, nah, no, man. You raise your kids the way you want them to represent you and themselves. So these kids are coming from a point of, this is how we were raised. Whenever there is issues in this family, we are invited. We can sit and talk like adults, as we are being groomed to be future adults. So I'm like, these kids would not have went beyond their parents' education, home setting education, to do something that they are not accustomed or used to, and all of a sudden they start standing up against their father. And secondly, there is a high probability it's either, if they were not raised like that, if they were not raised to be involved in adults matters, it's possible that they are getting involved because they are tired. Maybe they have seen this thing for a very long time happening. But under normal circumstances in a Zulu culture, and as a child in general, you don't get involved in the adults matters. Whenever other adults are fighting, you run away. And on the point of Auntie being involved as well, Auntie, that was not her place as well. She was not supposed to be part of that. But it also happened that it's possible that Auntie Nai is tired, because you can see Auntie Okhulile Loayana, who could be a mother to Nozipho. At some point, she could give advice that makes sense, because she's more like, oh, Auntie, they're almost part of the family. So in this case, what happens? Let us educate ourselves. Women in 2024, it is very important to love yourself enough and know your worth and understand that no matter what you do and how you do it for your family and for the men that you love, always know one thing and one thing only. Never ever depend on a man's salary. Not in this day and age. Have something that is going on the side that you know that it can sustain you should anything happen. Whenever S hits the F, just know that you've got an exit point. Because to me, it looks like Nozipho does not have an exit point at this point in time. First of all, it's possible that privately this man asked to have a second wife, but Nozipho refused. But because this man has got an upper hand economically and is the head of the home, he went ahead anyway and got the second wife. What happens then in this situation? In this situation, if Nozipho, there is something that is happening within her own household that she's not happy about, she was supposed to go to the elders and report that so and so is doing this. Can we sit down and talk about this? But in this case, how do you go to the elders that are also capable of going behind your back and pay lobola to somebody else while you are there in the house? You're sitting as a wife taking care of 8 children, and they know very well that half of these children are not from your womb, and you have been a good wife to this husband who is their son, and you have been a good daughter-in-law. and those people are capable of accompanying you. Because one thing, be rest assured, when you go in lobola, you involved your elders. And what did Ntshangase told his family? My wife is refusing that I take a second wife, so I'm going to go ahead anyway and take the second wife. And they supported him. What does that say about, excuse me, the Ntshangase family? Let me get some water. Yabona le ndaba le iyangibinda. I know the pain of having a man that you do everything and anything for. You love his children like your own. You want to keep a warm home, but it doesn't see you. This man does not see Nozipho. Probably has not seen her for a very long time, because even on Yaloga's channel, she did mention Uguti. There are children that are just literally 1 month apart. What does that tell you about their relationship in the past that we don't know about? That the part that is not on the public? What does that tell you? It means that Nozipho has put up with the BS of this man for a very long time. For I don't know what, 15, 10 years. I don't know how long they've been together. She has put up with the BS for this man. She has cleaned up after this man. She has loved this man with all his flaws. There has been the red flags all over everywhere, but still she chose to stay, and worse, without security. And right now, we don't even know what type of marriage contract. Are they married in community of property? Are they married out of community of property? Are they married out of community of property with accrual? As this man, we have seen on the video that he's forcing his way out of their lives, of his own family's life, to go and live with another woman and start a new life. My point of view, your exit strategy, Nozipho, right now should be very clear and straightforward. But obvious, this man does not want you. He has not wanted you for a very long time, but because you have been very good to him and his kids, he kept you. But because you have loved him with all his behest, you have uphiphile, yazi ngesiZulu sithi uyaphipha, waqoqa, waqhuma wonke amanyudulu namanyala wakhe. It's the only reason he loved you. Or it's the only reason he stayed with you so many years, because you actually tried to fit in. Nozipho tried to fit herself in, no matter what the situation. Noma le ndoda ingahamba iyozalisa 15 kids, Nozipho would have still taken care of these kids. I am not saying that women who continue to be nice and take care of those children as their own, it's wrong when they do that. It's not wrong, because it's a personal choice. It entirely depends on what you want out of that relationship or out of that marriage. So Nozipho had her own agenda, and this new woman has got her own agenda, and the agendas are not the same. And trust me, they don't even intertwine anyway. So eventually, ukhona uzozisola. But my advice and the educational point of it, the education that I want to bring to this woman with this episode, is that women never depend on a man for a salary. Know your story. And when you find yourself in a situation where Nozipho find herself in right now, your exit point must be very clear. Know your story. Because right now, she is entitled to everything that she can demand. Everything that she can demand. I am not a family law expert, but I did spoke to a friend of mine who told me that Nozipho she can demand the house. Or she can demand the cars and the same lifestyle. This man must pay her for the rest of her life. She can continue to be the housewife. So Nozipho deserve and can demand everything and remain the status quo. And let the man leave and go wherever he wants to go right now, because he's determined to leave. He doesn't even have a gala and a bone to live with Uber. He's demanding the car, the same car that take his own kids to school. Oh my God. What have we? And yes, it so happened that usually it's good women who usually find themselves in this situation. Why do men always find it so easy to do such horrible things to good women? And us as women, let us learn. Always have a financial backup plan, no matter what. Cause this life thing, hey, it's horrible. It can take you and throw you down on the darkest deepest, longest hole and you try to find a way out. I am nothing without this man. Not in 2024, Mtarababa. Don't do that to yourself. Life is unpredictable. Life gives us horrible lessons that we learn the hard way, that we learn on the job. We learn while we're already there, while we've already signed the contract. This is me to you, women. Be a woman of virtue. Be a woman that loves herself. Be a woman that knows that life has got surprises. Life is full of nonsense. Life does not always give you what you deserve. So what do you do in that situation? Protect yourself. It's me signing out. If you're new to this home, you are welcome. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. The universe of life. Unpredictable. Are you a graduate? I don't know. But maybe the lessons that we are learning and teaching each other in these episodes are the ones which are going to make you a graduate. And when you find yourself in a similar position, you can make a better and informed decision. Bye.